Livid NFL owner just gave every kneeling player in league shocking ultimatum before next game. It was only a matter of time before the national anthem protests reached a point where something truly major happened, that with irreversible consequences. One particularly livid NFL team owner just offered that opportunity to every protesting player in the league, and with a shocking ultimatum before any of them take the field, or a knee, at their next game. Anti-American protests have hijacked the America's sport, killing off fans at a rapid rate. The rhetoric is a virus to the league that has become an epidemic, and it's making the mass majority of America sick. Despite the fact that those who are a part of the problem refuse to see the destruction to their careers and the industry it's causing, one team owner has had enough and is the first to make a statement that's being heard loud and clear. Only the people on their knee and those who support them are too blind to see that the mass majority of Americans are really sick of seeing this statement. This isn't limited to conservatives. People on both sides of the aisle are essentially over this tired statement after the point has been made more than enough. More now than ever, it's not about bringing attention to anything other than themselves, and the trend has now encroached into dangerous territory that puts the entire NFL at risk. NFL owners have invested fortunes into their team franchises that to lose so much of that investment over this idiocy seems like a waste. While most refuse to see it, one owner recognizes what's at risk and is beyond livid at seeing the fallout from this. As such, he issued a very specific promise about what he'll do if these players, on any team, continue this obnoxious debauchery. The NFL and progressives have pushed this divisive and anti-American protesting too far, sending one owner over the edge, and rightfully so. The owner, who is a shareholder of the Green Bay Packers, who apparently didn't want the Daily Caller to identify him by name, unloaded his ultimatum to the players and didn't hold back when he expressed how upset he is with protesting. "I am FG livid right now. I see this ST and I lose my mind. It needs to end immediately," the owner shouted over the phone with the news source on Monday night. He then shocked the site with what he vowed to do if these actions continued to take over games. "I'll give up football completely and find something else to do with my time if this continues," he added. "This horse ST must end. These players are so out of touch. They disrespect our flag and then wonder why Trump won. It's a no-brainer. This is so disrespectful. People will run to college football over the NFL in droves if these protests continue," the owner ended the conversation in saying. Regardless of how much money he has in his team, he's willing to relinquish control over his massive investment because he's so fed up, and who can blame him? Despite it being disrespectful, it's nauseating to see. People are tired of it, including the guy who has a ton of money invested in it. The players are too arrogant to see it or care because they are loving all the attention they're getting for it. To be clear, the owner we spoke with is a shareholder of the Green Bay Packers. We feel this makes him uniquely qualified to put his finger on the pulse of everyday Americans, as opposed to possibly out-of-touch billionaires that own other NFL franchises, the Daily Caller added. The coach of the Green Bay Packers has been outspoken against these protests as well, taking a very specific approach to combating it on his field that others could certainly learn from. Coach Mike McCarthy has something else planned for these anti-American stars who think they are going to get away with protesting on his field. They are paid millions to play a game, not make negative political statements. Madison.com reports. Mike McCarthy doesn't know if anyone on his sideline will join the ranks of NFL players using the national anthem as an opportunity to protest. But if they do, the Green Bay Packers coach can say this for certain: they will do so with a knowledge of the history of the anthem and an understanding of how important he believes it is. McCarthy has taken it upon himself to educate his players on why we stand for the anthem, since ignorance is why most of the idiotic athletes are sitting or kneeling on the sidelines. He's putting knowledge of the real history of this nation on the field to stop players from making fools of themselves with protests. When entitled, "Disrespectful players from other teams show up to his field," they are going to see what real men who respect this nation look like. In turn, those sitting out will look stupid in the shadows of the heroes standing for the anthem. McCarthy said he addresses the anthem and his expectation of proper decorum during that with the players via a preseason presentation. "It's something that I've done each and every year here since I've been the head coach," McCarthy said. "We have a PowerPoint presentation that you update each year, and you always try to deliver the message clearly to the team. Every player should be required to take McCarthy's PowerPoint lesson and be educated on why we stand for the flag, despite our differences. An ounce of knowledge could sure stop a lot of protests and fed up people like this shareholder and the majority of Americans."